Hey guys, it's Crypto Minimalist here. Today in this video, I'm going to tell you why I think PulsePot is going to pump hard in price. If you don't already know, the sacrifice for PulsePot token is currently underway. I included the link down below in the video description and pinned to the top of the comments section. We'll start off with the tokenomics of PulsePot. Total supply of PLSP will be hard capped at 1 million tokens. I think this is probably the biggest reason that I'm bullish on PLSP price performance. There will be no inflation of the token supply. In fact, it will be deflationary due to a buy and burn feature, which we'll go over in more detail in a little bit. A token supply at 1 million is just almost unheard of nowadays. 100 million supplies is standard, and many times you're seeing supply go into the trillions. This is a throwback feature to the earlier days of crypto, and it's going to help PulsePot with desirability and scarcity. These 1 million tokens are going to be split up into 3 sections. 90% of the total supply will be open to the general public, you and me. That will be split up into 2 phases, the first being the sacrifice phase, which is ongoing, and then the participation phase after the launch of PulseChain mainnet. 800,000 of the 1 million tokens are available in the sacrifice phase. We will briefly take a break from the presentation and head over to the sacrifice page on pulsepot.io, and I will show you how to sacrifice if you have not done so already. Alright, so if you click on one of the links in the description or comments, it's going to take you over to the pulsepot.io sacrifice page. You have the address to send to, and only send tokens from the Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain. For the 10% referral bonus, you're going to have to connect your wallet right here. If you don't want to have to worry about wallet security, I would actually recommend creating a fresh MetaMask wallet to sacrifice from and to not use one that you already are storing tokens on. That's going to keep you safe and allow you to get the 10% bonus on top of your sacrifice. The first week of the sacrifice is over. We still have plenty of time in week 2, and the rate is not even that much worse. I personally am still sacrificing at $6 per PulsePot token. In the last couple hours, we actually even dropped from 76% to 74% of token supply still available. If you're doubting the legitimacy of this project, we're now over $700,000 sacrificed, and a Hexagon OG sacrificed over $300,000 worth of Hex in the last few days. And guys, it is a $100 minimum sacrifice to qualify for the 10% referral bonus. Now, after the sacrifice phase is complete on June 11th, we will next head into the participation phase with a guaranteed 100,000 tokens to be distributed to early adopters and users of the PulsePot decentralized application. And any tokens left over from the sacrifice phase that weren't purchased will be added on top of the 100,000 tokens already set aside. So this could be a very good opportunity to get extra free PLSP tokens. How this allocation is going to work is until the amount runs out, every PulsePot 5-minute game will have bonus PLSP added into the pot to go to the winner. And this will continue on until all PLSP tokens have been distributed into supply. There will also be 100,000 tokens set aside for the team to use for promotional purposes to help with adoption and the success of the project. PulsePot is going to be all about PRC-20 tokens. The PulsePot game on the dApp is going to be taking full advantage of the airdropped ERC-20 tokens onto the PulseChain blockchain upon mainnet launch. An airdrop of this magnitude has never been done before in the history of crypto. There's going to be trillions upon trillions of free copied PRC-20 tokens sitting in Ethereum users' wallets waiting to be put to use. And PulsePot has positioned themselves to take full advantage of this dynamic. With PulsePot being an already finished working product, the dApp can immediately begin taking advantage of airdrop PRC-20 tokens. When the PulsePot dApp is ready to launch on the PulseChain, the team has already stated there should be at least 50 to 100 whitelisted PRC-20 tokens with enough liquidity on the PulseX DEX for use on pulsepot.io. PulsePot is going to be fully compatible with the largest tokens on the PulseChain ecosystem. Of course, we'll have Hex, Pulse, PulseX, Hedron, USDL stablecoin from Liquid Loans, plus potentially many more other projects. Then perhaps even more important to the success of PulsePot is the Ethereum system state copy. That's going to bring over all the meme coins on Ethereum. There's thousands and thousands of these tokens. Most importantly, the biggest and most popular ones like Shiba Inu. Finally, PulsePot will be offering utility for PRC-20 tokens whose projects have abandoned them over on the Pulse chain. Those PRC-20s are still going to be sitting in wallets, and many of them are going to have a USD value attached. Now that price will probably be a lot lower than the Ethereum price, but if you're sitting with a ton of these abandoned tokens, you're going to be looking for a way to redeem the value. So you can either try to trade them into a liquidity pair on PulseX, or maybe you want to have some fun with these tokens and play the PulsePot game to try to get lucky and exchange your less desirable PRC-20 tokens into the more valuable tokens that have been widely adopted on the Pulse chain ecosystem. So guys, the use case is going to be here on day one of PulsePot being launched on Pulse chain. Now we'll check out the Pumpamentals of PulsePot. And I think the biggest one will be the distribution of the fees. When you own PLSP token, essentially you're a co-owner of a casino and entitled to a share of the casino's profits. In the PulsePot game, 3% will be taken out of every winning pot. These fees will be deducted from the largest value token in each individual pot, which will probably be PLSP in most instances. And I think that's a good thing for two reasons. One, it's going to decrease the amount of PLSP token that the winner can dump on the market. And if there are any highly sought after tokens like Pulse or PulseX, if you end up winning some pots, you'll get to keep 100% of those tokens. Now the 3% is going to be broken down into three parts. 1/3 will be paid back to all PLSP holders every 6 months in Pulse PLS tokens, which is incredible because just from holding PLSP, you're going to be receiving free Pulse. You could essentially consider this as a staking component where you're earning yield on your PLSP. Then another bullish component is 1/3 will be used to market, buy, and burn PLSP, similar to the buy and burn feature in PulseX that many Pulse chain experts expect to seriously pump the price of PLSX, and therefore I think it will also do the same thing to PLSP. There's so much deflationary pressure on PLSP, which if it can outweigh any buy pressure, will eventually lead to massive price gains. Then the last 1% is going to be paid out in a monthly lottery for all PLSP holders. One PulsePot token will equal one ticket into the lottery. So the more PLSP token you hold, the greater your chance at winning these lotteries. There will also be a reduction in fees for PulsePot token holders. For every one PLSP token you hold, you'll have 1% in reduced fees. So if you hold 50 tokens, you get a 50% reduced fee. And most importantly, if you hold at least 100 PLSP tokens, you will not have to pay any fees out of any pots that you win. This means that all fees will come from players with other PRC-20 tokens or that hold less than 100 PLSP tokens. That's incredible because that means if you have 100 tokens, you have zero risk. For every dollar that you put into a pot, your expected ROI is always going to be positive long term. So while you may lose individual pots, if you play a bunch of pots with a small percentage of your stack, on average, you're not going to lose any money. You're almost playing on the house. Guys, right now, 100 PLSP tokens is only going to cost you $625. And actually, it would be under $600 if you click on my referral link down below for the 10% bonus on your sacrifice. Now, once PulsePot launches, 100 PLSP tokens is going to be likely much, much more, like in the several of thousands of dollars. It's a great value right now to get in early on this token. Guys, when I was studying the PulsePot token, I really kept going back and forth on which Pumpamental was going to pump the price more. This token is just so wonderfully designed. The game theory behind it is phenomenal, and I have to give credit to the developers behind this project. They came up with this idea that PLSP will always have a floor price of $30 on the PulsePot.io DApp. I've seen a lot of confusion on this concept, but trust me guys, this is bullish. So essentially what this means is that a lower price on the PulseX market would lead to big arbitrage opportunities back over on PulsePot. Because the price of PLSP in the game will always be at least $30, that makes it easier for the PLSP holders to win the other tokens, therefore incentivizing players to buy more PulsePot token in order to take advantage of the price arbitrage between PulseX and PulsePot marketplaces. And then that buy pressure over time will raise the price up on PulseX to come into equilibrium with the $30 floor price on PulsePot. You still may be thinking, why is it a big deal to have a higher price over on PulsePot.io? The thing is that early on, after PulseChain launches, a lot of these PRC-20 tokens are going to start lower in price as they're trying to find their true market value. So while most of the other PRC-20 tokens will be near the floor, PulsePot's price in the game will be artificially inflated, allowing you, for example, to gain, say, 3 times as much value when winning other PRC-20 tokens, because the value of PLSP is 3 times higher than it should be because of its market value. Then finally, in regards to the $30 value, that's only relevant if the price is lower on the PulseX. If it's higher on PulseX, then the PLSP price on the PulsePot dApp is just going to match whatever that price is. PLSP will just keep rising with the market price of PLSP. Like I said, this is a very complex tokenomics. If you're not getting it, this is all designed to pump the price. The last pumpamental I have on this slide is the endless positive feedback loop written into the code. There will be a constant 10% premium placed on top of the PLSP market price on PulseX. So in addition to the PLSP price on PulsePot rising with the market price, it's going to be 10% higher. So if it's $30 on PulseX, it's going to be $33 on PulsePot.io. This will be an endless positive price pressure being placed on the PLSP token, driving it higher and higher and higher. Another interesting component to this feature that I thought of on my own is that PLSP may have liquidity pairs with Pulse token and PulseX token. So whenever those tokens rise in value, which they definitely will, it's going to place even more positive price pressure on PLSP. In that circumstance, the 10% premium almost acts as a 10% leverage on the health of the PulseChain ecosystem. Also, another thing I thought of is that because you can turn PLSP into possibly the most valuable PRC-20 tokens, the PLSP price is being backed by the value of maybe Hex, PLSX, and PLS. This token is just so fascinating. We're getting near to the end of this video. There's still a couple more things I have to show you. The first being more information on the participation phase, which will come after the sacrifice phase ends and after the PulseChain mainnet launch. There are 100,000 PLSP tokens set aside for this phase. Additionally, if any tokens are left over from the sacrifice phase, they will be moved over into the participation phase allocation. This phase is going to continue until all of these allocated tokens have been distributed to the early PulsePot adopters. How those tokens are going to be distributed is a bonus that's going to be added to each and every pot. It's going to start at a 3 PLSP token minimum. And then for every $15 US value that's in the pot through all the other PRC-20 tokens, 1 PLSP token will be added. So if there's $1,500 of value, there's going to be 150 PLSP added to the pot, plus the fixed 3 tokens for a total of 153 PLSP token bonus. Once again, I will remind you that this token has a very limited supply, hard capped at 1 million PLSP tokens. Early on, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to build big PLSP bags. But once these allocation phases are completed, it's going to be really hard to accumulate a bunch of PLSP. So take advantage now while you can. Finally, my last reason to be bullish on PulsePot, as if there weren't already plenty of other bullish pumpamentals, are future airdrops of PLSP on 4 other EVM-compatible blockchains, in addition to what we hope is the first launch on PulseChain any week now. Another reason why it's going to be so valuable to sacrifice for PulsePot is that PulseChain will be the only one of these blockchains where a sacrifice phase will take place. Your ending sacrifice balance on PulseSpot is going to be duplicated onto the 4 other blockchains. You will get the same number of tokens on PulseSpot as you will on the other deployed blockchains. In simpler terms, for the price of 1 token during the sacrifice, you will get 4 additional tokens for free. PulseSpot is planning to deploy on Binance Smart Chain and Polygon at the end of this year, and then next year they're planning to deploy on Avalanche and Phantom. Wow, that was a lot of information. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave me a comment down below. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.